welcome to the WIHS Journal. On the broadcast with me, I was so blessed to have individuals from the Truth Baptist Church in South Windsor talking about their production called Summer Frost, which is actually taking place this coming weekend. In the broadcast with me today was Melody Mudler and Jonathan Mudler and Hannah Harper. And then you'll hear a little voice in between our conversation, adorable little child. So I'm glad you were able to join us and hear all about the production of Summer Frost. Well, today in the WIHS studio, we are so blessed again to be talking about another year of Christmas plays. And this year it's called Summer Frost. And in the studio with us, as you hear the beautiful baby in the background, we have Melody Mudler and also Hannah Harper. And they will be talking about this play in depth and hoping that you can go out and support them this year. So first of all, Melody, just introduce yourself to our listeners. What part do you take in the church and everything?
So I have been involved in directing these teen dramas since, I think, 2012. So it's been a little bit. I used to be the assistant director, and the last couple of years I've been the main director and just running the show, getting everything all organized as much as I can. I have a lot of help with that, thankfully, and doing a lot of the directing of the actors, making sure they know their lines, helping them with their interpretation and planning the blocking and all of that kind of stuff.
So Hannah, and tell us how you're involved with the church.
Yeah. So I do go to Truth Baptist Church. I have been an assistant director, and I still am an assistant director for like roughly 4 years now. The last time I acted and performed in the plays was 2018. So I've just been helping as an assistant on the director team. I attend rehearsals and kind of pitch in and help out with like directing their interp and their blocking and sometimes take care of some little administrative things for Melody behind the scenes. And I really enjoy doing that.
Awesome. So this year, I know you guys have been doing it consecutively for 15 years. I know you used to bring in the whole squad, literally, 20 people in the van, which I miss, which is awesome.
Yes,
so this year it is called a Summer Frost. So tell our listeners, maybe either one of you want to just talk about the theme behind Summer Frost. Maybe not give it away, but just some of the theme. Yeah.
So Summer Frost follows the story of a girl named Betty Sinclair. It starts in 1918, and we move through the decades of her life, seeing the hardships, the joys, the different things that God allows her to go through in life, and her process of learning to respond to those things, learning to, what happens when she tries to deal with it herself, when she brings it to God, how she learns to process, how she learns to trust God even when things are hard. So it has a very strong theme of suffering, and that hardship is something God does allow in our lives and he uses to help us grow. Yeah, it has a large theme of trusting God in suffering. One of the verses that's quoted in the play is Romans 8:18. For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is to be revealed to us. That verse talking about that we do experience suffering. The sufferings of this present time are a very real thing, and all of us go through suffering in our lives in various ways. But the suffering, when compared to the glory that will come in heaven, that will be revealed to us when we get to see Jesus, it won't even compare. We'll be able to see him and say, God, even though it was hard, it was worth everything that you taught me, everything to be able to know you more. So that's a big part of it. And we hope that when people come to watch the play, they'll be able to relate to some aspect of Betty's life, some part of her journey and the things that God brought her through. Maybe you won't be able to relate to all of them, but I can relate to some of the things that she goes through in the story. And it's a really encouraging and challenging and emotional story.
Yeah. So Hannah Harper, tell us how many youth are involved in the church and how it affects you by seeing them grow by doing this ministry.
We have about 30 actors and actresses this year. We're super excited to have that many. I think I can even say from personal experience that a huge part of being in these plays is learning to get outside of yourself when you're at an age like when you're a teenager and you're really self-conscious, is to get outside yourself and use the gifts that God has given you, and the mouth and the mind and the skills that we have to glorify him and to serve him and to share a very important message with people by using those gifts. So I know that's a really huge part of it. It's also really sweet to see the friendships that all of these teens develop with each other, and that they have a super close, solid community if they didn't have that before.
So how is God glorified? Someone comes out to Truth Baptist Church and they come to see this play, Summer Frost. How is God glorified through this play?
It's a really encouraging thing to be able to see people come and get immersed into the story. And there's so much prayer that goes into this. Every rehearsal, we pray before we start. And as a director team, we pray regularly over the production, just that God would be glorified through it in people being able to connect with the story and people being able to come away from it encouraged or challenged. The gospel is shared, is presented. And after every show, we also, usually my husband comes up and shares the gospel more directly with the audience before the end. So we do strive to bring God glory through directly the message, but also the way that we produce the play. It's not your kid's Christmas pageant. It's produced as high quality as we can do it without having a ton of resources. So we work very hard to make sure the costumes look appropriate for the time period and that the stage is built well and that our blocking, moving around on the stage, is choreographed in a way that is intentional and really communicates well, and that the actors learn to communicate with their voices, with their bodies, and to bring God glory by presenting the story well.
Awesome. Well, if you're just tuning in right now, wondering about this conversation, I'm speaking to Hannah Harper and Melody Mulder. And I know that you have your husband, Jeremy, here also in the studio, and he plays a very important part in the play because I know he kind of builds it. Maybe, Jeremy, you want to just talk about how God is using you in this production and what takes place behind the scenes for you.
Yeah, so every year is a fun time just building the set, putting together, talking with the director group, and saying, okay, what do we really need this set to look like this year? What will help bring the story to life this year? Some years we've done pretty complex sets, doing plays like The Hiding Place or some others that we've done in the past that are multi-story. This year is a little bit simpler, which is fine by me this year. And but building it, four stage, the main stage, and all the backstage stuff is actually a lot of what goes into it, trying to make sure that things are going to be able to flow for the actors behind the scenes as well. Yeah, it's fun. Sometimes we get some of the other teens involved helping along with it. It gives them another avenue with which to grow and hone some skills and see all what goes into a production.
Are you in charge of lighting and everything also?
So, no, we have got a tech team that includes Hannah's husband, David. He pretty much oversees that side of it, with communication with Melody and Hannah. So it's definitely a team effort to pull this play off, and David does a really good job with the tech.
Awesome. And Hannah Harper, we were talking a little bit before the play started, and the most important thing is when we do these productions, we want to transform people's lives. We want them to be, transformed by the power of Jesus Christ. So tell us, maybe in the past, one of a testimony that that there was a transformation.
Yeah. So I know at least one person in our church that after the last play that I remember participating in as an actor or actress, remember after the performances, Jeremy coming upstairs and talking to the whole cast and telling us, like, guys, no matter what happened tonight or whatever you feel was difficult or went wrong, like, we can rejoice and thank God because one person actually came to know the Lord that night from the play that we did. And that was amazing. I remember hearing that story and just thinking, like, it was all worth it. Yeah. It was so worth it.
Awesome. I just loved hearing about, your heart for the ministry, your heart for this play. What else would you like to convey to our listeners before we do close the broadcast today?
The location of the drama is going to be at Truth Baptist Church on 60 Burnham Street in South Windsor, Connecticut. We have 3 performances, The first one is Friday, December 8th at 7 p.m., and the second and third are on Saturday, December 9th at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. You can get tickets by going to truthbaptistchurch.org. The performances are about 2 hours long each, and they're free to attend. So you just have to reserve your tickets online, and then you're free to come. And we hope you enjoy being able to see this program come to life.
Once again on the broadcast, we talked about Summer Frost, the production taking place at the Truth Baptist Church in South Windsor, Connecticut. That starts this weekend, December 8th and December 9th. For more details about today's production, give us a call here at WIHS. Our phone number is 860-346-1049.